Hey everybody, it's Michael from Replica Airguns with a real treat today. We've got the Barra 1866 lever action 22 caliber CO2 pellet rifle, and this is the tabletop video, so no actual shooting in this video. That'll be followed up with shooting when I do the field test shooting video at a later date, so that one isn't out just yet, but by the time you watch this video, maybe it will be. Depends when you watch it, I guess. But anyways, we're going to talk specifications, details. I'm going to bring it up close every now and then, let you have a good look at it in the camera there. And this is a real treat. We don't often come across, or I don't often come across 22 caliber rifles, unless they're like break barrel rifles. So this is interesting. It's an actual replica rifle, lever action, lever if you're in the States. And it shoots 22 caliber pellets. So that's really cool. And it shoots them at, and we'll get into the specifications, at a decent FPS. It's not going to be crazy fast, but it is a heavier pellet than what you would find in a .177 caliber pellet. So you're going to have more mass going down range, and it's going to hit a little harder than a .177 caliber pellet, even if that pellet was traveling at 500 feet per second. This guy at 400-ish feet per second will hit that target a little bit harder, or whatever you're shooting at, with some more energy downrange. So let's get into the specifications. But before I do that, this gun is available in both our Canada and our US Replica Airgun store. It may be in the US store at some point. I'm not sure if it's in there right now, but we typically have Barra products in the States as well. But yeah, because they're a US company, so we typically have access to them in the States as well. It's a fairly new product, so at the time of this video, may or may not have stock, but it should be listed in both of those locations. I'll put links in the description for you to find the product there, this product. And let's get right into the specifications. I'm going to read off my cheat list here because I got a lot to talk about and I don't want to miss anything. So this gun is distributed by Barra. It's made in Taiwan. It's based on the Winchester 1866 lever action rifle. It's got a little liberty. There's different versions. Some of them have different colored, straps, barrel straps and different things. And some of them aren't going to necessarily be octagonal barrels. So there are some differences, but there's a lot of different versions out there. And it's based off of that Winchester 1866, hence the name 1866. It's mostly all metal construction with the exception of the fox or the faux wood stock. The stock actually looks very realistic, by the way. And again, it's a lever action repeater. It's a single action only, so you will have to do work the lever, hold it nice and tight because there's a little bit of it's kind of like a trigger safety. It's a lever safety, and then you can fire it, or you'll have to pull the hammer back if you've dropped it. But in order to actually cycle one of the shells, you'll need to obviously work the lever and then fire it, okay? So it is a single action trigger. Again, it shoots .22 caliber pellets. It has a 10-shot tube style magazine. And I'll show you the rounds right now, just real quick here. So these are the shells, not the actual round, but the shells. The pellet goes in the back, 22 caliber. Got a much bigger hole going on here. And then, of course, you would pop it in, right? I'll put some more in a bit, but that's how you load it up, just like you normally would load a lever action rifle. This gun weighs 6.5 pounds, so it's not a lightweight. That's 2.9 kilograms. The total length is 38.5 inches or 90.7 centimeters, and the barrel length is 18.75 inches, which is 47.6 centimeters. And it has a claimed FPS of 410. So we'll see how true that is with pellets. I'm not sure if those are with lighter weight or just standard lead pellets. I'm assuming standard lead pellets. Hopefully that's the case. And it has a 3-position pop-up rear sight, and I'll show you that when I get into it and show you it up nice and close. Again, there's that Picatinny rail for mounting a red dot or magnified optical scope on the back here. Just a little guy, so it doesn't take away from the gun. You could take it off if you want to, if you don't like the look of it. And it uses dual 12-gram CO2 cartridges housed in the rear of the stock there. They kind of go end to end or butt to butt. It also has this, again, the imitation wood stock, which looks really good, I think. It was hard. You have to really take a good look to tell that it's not real wood. So that's kind of nice. And they're getting better at making imitation wood stocks look realistic, that's for sure. Has the gold receiver and butt plate, a thumb safety hammer, and the octagon barrel. It's actually recessed a little bit, so you get that realism there as well. And again, as I was mentioning, so there's a thumb safety here, and there's also a bit of a lever safety. So you can't, if I pull this back and I don't hold the lever tight to the stock, I have to pull it in tight, and then I can release the hammer, pull the trigger. So that's kind of another level of safety when firing this gun. You really got to have a good grip on it. Okay, not that it's going to have a lot of recoil or anything, but it just makes sure that you really meant to fire it. Okay, so at this point, let's show the box and the manual. Sometimes it's hard to hold this at the same time. I don't want to drop it on the floor. But we have here the box, so we'll look at that real quick. So Bear's done a nice job of packaging, and it's just a basic box with some foam inside to keep everything in place. You'll see here on this side, I'll read it to you in a second, but you have some information: power, CO2, action, lever action, ammunition, 22 caliber, velocity 410, 18.75 inch barrel, rifled barrel, and it's got the flip up sights for optics. Okay, so yeah, you kind of get the gist there. Nothing really fancy going on there. It does, again, come with 10 shells. So here's some of the remainder ones. I've got a few here, but 10 in this little bag that comes with the rifle. So I would suggest you buy a few more because you may lose some, especially if you're out in the grass shooting this gun or outside and those shells are popping out because they just fly out the top and they're going to go wherever they go. So pretty easy to lose. Let's take a look at the manual real quick. Not really going to be able to show it to you at the same time as I go over it, but essentially you have, you've got some specifications, right, which we've kind of already gone over. Interesting, 0.177. So it's actually showing for different barrels. I'm assuming this comes in different barrel lengths. So if you have that, there is a 0.177 caliber version in the States, and they have velocities here using the smooth bore versus a rifled barrel. So with the rifled and smooth, you get like up to 600 FPS with the smooth bore and up to 525 FPS. And this is, again, 0.177 caliber pellets using those ones. Now, it says here in the manual that you can get between 370 and 410 with pellets with the CO2 22 caliber rifled barrel. So yeah, so this, like I was saying, in a 0.177 caliber, it's going to be a little faster, but I think you're going to have a little less energy downrange. Okay, so yeah, I've got your instructions, how to work the safety, how to get that CO2 out. So I'm going to show you that anyways. How to load the pellets or BBs. So you can put BBs in there, I guess, if you want to, but not with this one, but with the 177 caliber, you can. Shows that you can. And those actual shells would be golden color or brass colored as opposed to silver. Shows you how to work the safety and the grip safety. They call it a grip safety. So yeah, it's pretty similar. It's not really a trigger safety. It's more of a grip safety that they've included in there. And then they have some troubleshooting. And then there's a little scan code. So if you want to scan that, you can do that right on the screen if you're not using a phone at the time. If you're using your phone, you have to use someone else's phone to scan it. But you can do that if you want to. So let's get back to showing off the gun because I really want to do that. And then we'll talk pros and cons. We're going to put a few more shells in here just so you can see how they load. Okay, so they just like you would load a standard lever action, right? And then I'll see if I can get this to work. So hopefully you can see the shell going in. Luckily I didn't hit my camera lens. Otherwise that could have been bad. Very expensive camera. So that's how you work it. You probably already know that, but it works just fine. The first time I worked the action, it felt a little sticky, but as you work it, it just sort of smooths out a little bit. So maybe there's a little grease in there that need to get going, but it does. You've got to do it with like you're determined. You can't just kind of go like that. You really got to make sure you mean it when you're working the lever. You gotta do it like you mean it. So just keep that in mind. Don't baby it. Work it nice and hard. That didn't come out right. Anyways, yeah. So let's take a look at this Barra 1866. You're gonna get fingerprints on here, so just deal with it. So there's your I don't know if you can see that little in the back there. So that has to be all the way in, and then you've got your thumb safety right here. So it's right where your thumb is, so you can easily engage it or disengage it. You can also easily cock the hammer with your thumb if you want to, all at the same time. Take a look at that wood stock. Looks pretty nice, right? We'll get into the back of it, right? There goes my box. So you just push this button down here. There's a button on the bottom, and this pops out. It's hard to do this. And then you have your CO2 here with a built-in Allen key. So you just pull this Allen key out and unscrew this. Basically, there's a long tube. You would put the front of the CO2 in first, and then the butt of the second one, and that's how they work. So they go butt to butt with the front, with the pierced part goes in first. Then you go butt to butt with the pierced part at the very end here. So it shows you in the manual how to do that. So it's not that hard. I want to show you this front sight here. So we've got a pop-up sight, and you can see that you've got your typical rear sight, notch sight. And then if you pull it up here, you've got the sight in the middle, which is for potentially shooting mid-ranges. So I would say that's for shooting close, because it's going to be a little lower, right? And then as you raise it up, so right here, it's going to make the front of the gun go up a little bit to get that sight in place, and that's going to make it shoot a little further. And then you'll notice at the top, you've got like another notch in there. So you got another notch sight in the front. So that's for shooting longer ranges. So it's kind of nice. You've actually got this 3 position for different ranges. And I think that's going to work really well. We'll have to try it and see how that affects the target, how much it elevates it. I'm not sure which one will be good here at 30 feet. I'm thinking just the standard lowest position would be the best. Let's take a look at that barrel. Right, sort of octagonal barrel, a little styrofoam on it. You've got your front sight there, right? And then you have the front, and you can see here, it's a recessed barrel. Let's take a look at the other side. Okay, there's not a lot of Barra markings on this gun. They've kept it pretty clean. So you will see a little bit of writing there on that side, right, with the caliber. And you'll also see on the bottom of the barrel, there's a little bit of writing. So they've kind of kept it discreet and small. Maybe I would, it would be nice if it was a little bit more neutral color, like not quite as white bright. Maybe if they dulled it down, it'd be a little nicer, but it's okay. It's in the bottom of the gun. You really don't see it too much unless you go looking for it. So yeah, there you have it. There's that rear Picatinny rail. There again is your thumb safety. Yeah, really nice. You see how the mechanism works, right? Anyways, let's talk pros and cons. There's going to be a lot of pros, I think. So not many rifles come in .22 caliber, so it's nice that you have a replica rifle that's 22 caliber and it's a little bit more power down range, carrying a little bit more oomph, I would say. If you're shooting cans, they're going to hit those cans a little harder, make a little more noise. I think it'd be fun. And it's an almost all metal constructed gun with good weight and feel to it. It feels legit. I have a Henry lever action 22 actual rifle, real steel rifle. Shoots 22 caliber long rifle, and it feels a lot like this gun. It's pretty much the same. So if you're into lever action guns, this one will certainly be the one that you'd want to shoot and get your practice in, right? If you like shooting the lever actions. I always find lever action guns really fun. Even the little Red Riders, they're just fun to shoot. It's just, I don't know what it is. It's just something about shooting a lever action gun. It's just a lot of fun. So you got the Foxwood stock. It looks very realistic. It's hard to tell it's plastic, to be honest. Again, they're doing a good job of these stocks, these fake imitation wood stocks. They look really realistic. And the octagonal recessed barrel adds to the realism. So it's got that octagon barrel. It's recessed. Gives you that wider opening in the front, like you would find on a real steel gun. And that white writing is mostly under the barrel, so it's fairly discreet. And the gold receiver and butt plate add to the look of quality. It just gives it a really cool look. Now, a lot of guns I don't like gold on. I think they're too blingy, but for something like this, back in the day and even now, there's quite a few lever action guns that have some gold on them, and I think that's more common with lever action guns, so I don't think it's out of place here. The rear sight has the 3 positions for different ranges and sighting. So you got that standard low, the peep mid is kind of a peep sight in the middle, and the high for distant shots further out. You also have the option of mounting a red dot or magnified optical scope or sight on the rear compact Picatinny rail, or you can take that off if you want to get rid of the look of that and want to keep it more traditional. Again, it uses those 12-gram CO2 cartridges back to back. You put them in the tube there. That's going to reduce the cool down effect. So when you're shooting a lot of rounds quickly, you're not going to notice the pellets slowing down, especially in colder weather. It helps to have dual CO2s, and they're the 12-gram CO2s are a lot cheaper than than say the 88 gram CO2s. Those can get really expensive, and they also would make the whole back of this gun a lot beefier, and it wouldn't look true to the real thing. Like Umarex has a gun that uses an 88 gram CO2 cartridge in the stock, and it's kind of a similar idea. It has a rotary mag, but the stock has to be kind of big, and it looks a little out of place. All right, so it also has a secondary safety on the lever they call it a grip safety. So it's nice having the dual safeties. And again, you're going to have to press that lever tight into the stock. So grip it fairly firmly, and then you can shoot. So I think that's a good thing. The first time I tried shooting it, I wasn't doing that, and I was wondering why I couldn't pull the trigger. So you'll figure it out pretty quick. Again, it has a claimed 410 FPS, which should be more than sufficient for mid-range shooting. And the lever action rifles are just so much fun to shoot. I think I already said that. I mentioned it already, but I'll say it again. All right, some cons. The rear sight is not adjustable for windage, so if it's shooting a little left to right, you're going to just have to, basically aim left to right to just compensate for it slightly, because there's no real way of adjusting that. And I don't believe the front sight can be moved around. If it could, then you could adjust it for windage, but it doesn't. I don't know if you can. Maybe you can, but I'm not going to force it either way. And it's more than likely going to lose some. You're going to more than likely lose some of these shells. Like, I don't even know where those shells went that I ejected. I'm going to have to look for them. So again, I would suggest you buy additional shells, because especially if you're shooting it outside or in a cluttered room like my room is right now, then shells are going to go underneath things and get stuck in the high grass, and they're gone basically, unless you want to spend all day looking for them with a metal detector. Hey, maybe buy a metal detector. That's another option. All right, so one last thing, you will have to hold the lever snug to the stock to trigger, or the trigger's not going to work. So that's not necessarily a con, but you don't typically find that. At least I haven't seen it on like my real steel lever action, that you need to pull that lever right in. That's not a thing that it makes you do. So that's a little weird. It's not as traditional as you'd find on the lever action, but it's a nice level of safety, and it's okay that I think they did that. You just gotta know about it and make sure you securely hold things when you shoot it. So that's it. I really like this gun. I've been looking forward to reviewing this gun since SHOT Show, where I saw it at the Barra Booth. And here it is now for us to enjoy and test out for you guys and show around it. So hope you like this video. Don't forget to subscribe. Check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And also check out replicaairguns.ca for Canada, replicaairguns.us for the US, where we have air guns, BB guns, airsoft guns, pellet guns, blank guns, and other accessories. And hopefully this bad boy's in stock if you're looking for it. And I'll put links in the description for you to find it there as well. All right, thanks for watching. Until next time. Can I get back far enough? Until next time, take care.